What is up, everybody? Welcome aboard the Fantasy Fast Track. Today we are going over the NFC East home games, and we got a great divisional matchup to start out with, which is Washington is at the Philadelphia Eagles, and it should hopefully turn out to be a fair game. I'm sure the Eagles will run away with it like they have been doing, and literally run away with it because their run game has been borderline unstoppable. With Jalen Hurts, you're going to be starting him. He is a easily top 12 QB, and if you drafted him, there's no way you're going to be sitting. There's no way you're going to be sitting him, barring any injury. Start AJ Brown, start Devonta Smith, and start Dallas Goedert. There really aren't any tight ends that should be started above him that you're going to find off the waiver wire. He is a top, I'd say, 5 tight end, and he has been getting a lot of volume. The yards just have not been there, so hopefully those yards can pick up against the Washington Commanders. As far as running backs go, DeAndre Swift has pretty much stolen the show, but they showed this last week that they're kind of still approaching this as a committee. Kenneth Gainwell did have 14 touches, so they are still sharing the backfield. It looked like they were just switching drives on and off. So as far as that goes, if you need Kenneth Gainwell as RB depth at like an RB3 flex option, he's in play there, and you can start DeAndre Swift as a RB2 with clear RB1 upside, and definitely fire up the defense against the Commanders. The Eagles have shown that they can stop pretty much anybody, and with the likes of Sam Howell throwing the ball wherever he feels like, as long as it's not to his own wide receivers, they should have a great outing for the Eagles defense. As far as Washington goes, you're sitting Sam Howell. Terry McLaurin is a grin and bear it with as a wide receiver 3. Brian Robinson has a great opportunity to get some more volume, but the issue is if they go behind early like they did last week, Antonio Gibson may be a sneaky flex play or RB3 because he was on the field more than Brian Robinson this last week and was getting some receptions. I think that he is the clear receiving back as far as it goes when it comes to being behind, which I personally don't agree with. I think Brian Robinson is a way better running back all the way around, but I'm obviously not the coach. And then with Jahan Dotson, I would just sit him. There's just no volume going there. In fact, most of it was going to the tight ends, which would be a great reason to start Logan Thomas this week is if he is healthy. He was on his way to a very great game before he was concussed in actually a touchdown reception 2 weeks ago. So if he is healthy, fire him up. And as of right now, he is expected to play. He should be out of concussion protocol within the next day or two, which will give him plenty of time to be ready to play the game on Sunday. Next on the list is New England at Dallas. Dallas is probably going to be coming out firing, so I would definitely temper my expectations with the Patriots offense, even though it is kind of not necessarily the most fantasy-friendly offense in the league. You're not going to be starting Mac Jones. You can start Ramondre Stevenson as an RB2, and I wouldn't even touch Zeke at all. He just isn't getting the volume, and I'm pretty sure it's just going to be dropping slowly even more and more until pretty much they just don't play him anymore. And as far as wide receivers go, it's been a toss-up. This last week, Devontae Parker played almost 100% of the snaps, and he was definitely the wide receiver 1. So if you have him, you may fire him up as a flex option. It just doesn't look like they really decide who they want to throw the ball to until it just kind of happens in the game, because you had Thornton. He was the blow up in week 1, then Devontae Parker, and we will just have to play it by ear like you always do with wide receivers, and hopefully they can make a decision on a wide receiver so you know who to pick up off the waiver wire. As far as tight ends go, fire up Hunter Henry. He is a tight end 1 and will remain a tight end 1 for the near future unless something crazy happens as far as injury or anything like that. The defense for the Patriots may be a sneaky play this week because Dak Prescott has just shown, like he did last week when he threw away the game against the Cardinals, he is going to make turnovers, and it just might happen again. He led the league in turnovers he led the league in interceptions. I don't know if he led it in turnovers, but he had 15 interceptions last year, and it looks like it might just carry over into this year. As far as Dallas goes, Dak Prescott is a great QB2 option, maybe in a super flex league. I wouldn't be starting him in a QB1 league. I would start like Brock Purdy over him. I think he's a better option. Geno Smith, you may have drafted Geno Smith. I don't think you drafted Dak Prescott and Geno Smith. So there's that. As far as Tony Pollard goes, you're starting him. CeeDee Lamb, you're starting him. Michael Gallup actually showed some promise this last week, and he should be a great option as a flex, and it looks like he's overcome his ACL and is showing he is way more explosive than Brandon Cooks, and he probably will get a lot more playing time. And as far as Ferguson goes, he has had a lot of red zone opportunity. Dak Prescott has been targeting him like crazy. He just can't seem to catch the ball. So he may be a sneaky play as well. Probably more in a deeper league where you're just trying to find a tight end to play. And I definitely would be firing up the Cowboys defense. They couldn't stop the Cardinals, which is kind of alarming, but I think it was just trying to shuffle everything around after they lost their star corner in Trayvon Diggs. So expect a better outing this week against the Patriots and the ever-successful Mac Jones, right? Let's move on to Seattle and the New York Giants. The Giants are definitely an interesting team with Daniel Jones at the helm. You can expect a large amount of effective passing, but I think actually the sneaky play this week is Wan'Dale Robinson. Wan'Dale Robinson played 10 snaps this last week coming off his first game after his ACL tear. He played 10 snaps and he got 5 targets. So when he is on the field, they are planning on giving him the ball. He actually was on the border of having a breakout season last year before he suffered that injury, and he was becoming one of Daniel Jones' favorite targets. You should start him. You should start Darren Waller if he is healthy. As far as Saquon Barkley goes, it says that as far as the injury reports go, it is possible that he will play. Definitely play that by ear when it comes to Friday and Saturday. And if he can't go, looks like you're starting Matt Breida again and just praying for a touchdown. That's pretty much it as far as the Giants go. I just think Wan'Dale, Waller, and maybe Saquon Barkley or Matt Breida. And then as far as Seattle goes, Seattle, you should be starting Geno. He looks like he is primed to have a great week against the Giants and finish as a QB1. Not the QB1. He will probably be, 8 to 12, but that's better than having a good old goose egg at your quarterback position. He has shown that he has been a little bit more reliable than the week 1 scare, and with DK Metcalf healthy and ready to go, and Tyler Lockett, there should be no reason for him to not get at least 200, 250 yards, maybe a couple touchdowns if Ken Walker doesn't steal him on the ground. So be starting Geno, start Tyler Lockett, start DK Metcalf. I would fire up JSN in dire situations, maybe as a flex in a deeper league, but he just doesn't seem to be getting the volume that we were expecting from a player like him. As far as Ken Walker goes, you should be playing him. He showed that he can score and be an effective runner, but Zach Charbonnet's touches have been creeping in just a little bit, and you may be able to fire up Zach Charbonnet as a later flex RB3 option if you need to, because it looks like he is starting to eat into Ken Walker's workload, and he was just a few steps away from having a great touchdown this last week, which definitely would have hampered Ken Walker's upside this last week. As far as anything else goes, if there are any injury updates, I'll try and post them in the comments or just post them as a short on my page. If you got value from this, please hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions, comments, start sit advice, hit it in the chat below and I'll get to it as soon as I can. We'll see you guys next time.